Hello and welcome back to The Drag Detective, where we're going to do part 2 of this little 2-part video series that I am doing this week. Last video, we looked at All-Star 7 and what would have happened if there had been eliminations on that season. And this video, we're going to be talking about All-Stars 9 and what would have happened if there were eliminations in that season. Because if you remember, this was the charity season where they brought 8 queens on to compete not for themselves but for charity, and it was what it was. It wasn't the best, it wasn't the absolute worst, I guess, but I feel like with some eliminations this could have really heated up the season. So we're gonna do exactly what we did in the last video. There will be a lip sync for your life format. The bottom 2 will lip sync for their lives. There will be 1 challenge winner. There'll be a 1 non-elimination episode. And after 8 episodes, we will see who would be the winner in this scenario. Also, if you are not watching Slasion Royale right now, you absolutely should. There's 2 episodes out now, and this season is crazy. I would say it's 85% in English. So if you're worried about watching a season that's not in English and you don't really want to read the subtitles, I get that. I also hate reading subtitles, but this season is mostly in English. Some of the Filipino queens do kind of speak in Tagalish, which is they'll speak half in Tagalog, half in English, but for the most part, everyone speaks English pretty well, and you don't really need to rely on the subtitles that much. I'm also covering this season on the Rigged Recap with Black Boy, so if you are missing some Rigged Recap content, that is available to listen to wherever you listen to your podcasts. All right, let's dive in to All-Stars 9 if it had eliminations. So, looking at our cast, this is not, winners, but this is a pretty stacked All-Stars cast. For the most part, these are all very, very, very heavy hitters. People that I was shocked we hadn't seen already, like Nina West, like Gottmik, like Vanjie, and we got them all at once. Roxxxy, great Chanel, a great, great cast. And then it had new favorites like Angeria and Georges. So this really does feel like a fun, good cast. I feel like there wasn't much chemistry between this cast because there wasn't really a need to strategize that hard. they were blocking each other from getting stars or whatever, but you could just tell this cast wasn't super, super close, or they weren't fighting, they weren't having emotional moments, they were just kind of vibing there the whole time. And there just really wasn't many stakes. So let's change that and let's send these bitches home. So we start out with the Drag Queen Save the World premiere episode where they have to do this girl group to this song, which I kind of forgot was as good as it was. This is a really good song. Not all the verses are good, but the song itself is really fun. And they also have a runway that's more important. I don't want more important. It's more intense. There's more intention behind it. It's almost like a little mini challenge because they have to present a perfume, an eau de parfum, if you will, for their brand. So they have to show the perfume bottle, and they also have to wear a look that would go with this brand. So it's a very jam-packed episode. There's a lot that went into it. And looking at who did the absolute best and who did the absolute worst, looking at the challenge itself, I feel like the absolute standouts were Angeria and Georges and Vanjie and Plastique. They all had super fun verses. They all performed super well. They were just the 4 that stood out the most, and they were the 4 that were put in the top. So that made total sense to me. Looking at the runway, it's not just about having a good runway. I feel like you need to have good runway, good perfume, good bottle, good name. Everything needs to make sense with your brand. And I feel like Angeria's was wonderful. I feel like Georges's was super fun. I think Nina's was actually... I don't understand the criminal part, but I think that the look itself is really fun. Plastique's, of course, was amazing. And Chanel's was amazing. I feel like Roxxxy's was never sent home, which is I don't know if I would call a perfume that, and then I don't know what the look has to do with anything. It's just a pretty dress. I feel like if she would have worn a redemption look, or taken a look that maybe she was almost sent home in or something, and rebranded it, or redid it in like a 2024 lens, like that would have made more sense. But like there's just kind of a disconnect with me with her runway and with the perfume branding. And then Vanjie's Toxica is fun, but like what does Toxica have to do with Vanjie? You know what I mean? And the look is good, but it's nothing like insane. It's nothing like, you know, for the first week runway when some of these looks are like stellar. When Nina West is pulling out this, you know what I mean? Like that's just a little like, not the best. So I decided that the top three, who I feel like were great in both the challenge and in the runway, was clearly Angeria, Jorgeous, and Plastique in alphabetical order. But if I had to pick a winner overall, and if RuPaul and the judges were going to pick a winner overall, because this is not my judging, this is not like my unrigged judging, this is like what would have happened if the judges were there judging this, Angeria was going to win this challenge. And you know, maybe I would have given it to Plastique, but I do feel like Angeria deserved this win overall. This might be my favorite or second favorite runway of the week, and Plastique I would put as like my third or fourth favorite runway. But I think Plastique did have my favorite verse, so I don't know. They're pretty even to me. They were my two favorites of this challenge, so Angeria winning makes total sense to me. Jorgeous and Plastique in the top. I'm not going to have a low because Vanjie obviously was good in the challenge, not the best on the runway. Nina West, listen, I know people hate Nina West, whatever. That's my Ohio queen. She's iconic. She's incredible. She's made so much money for charities, including Palestine. Have your faves done that? I don't think so. And I feel like she gets kind of shit on for this verse, but like, I feel like we need to look at this with a 2025 lens, with a, you know, Nina West hate train might be over lens, because this is a good verse, except for the little whoo at the end. Drag is a crown to lock me up. I'm gonna wear my crown to strut my stuff. This fight is for equality. We got a superpower, you and me. Like, I don't know. I feel like she looked good. She danced well. Catchy verse. I don't know what else you want from this woman. And she had a good runway. Not all of her runways are good. Obviously, this one was good. So Nina, for me, was safe. Gottmik is the one that's like, could she be low? Her runway was nowhere near her best. It was a little bit predictable. And I feel like she's a little bit forgettable in the verse. But I just don't think she was bad enough to be low. So I put her safe as well. Which means we have a bottom two of Roxxxy Andrews and Chanel. Roxxxy, I don't know. I mean, she's just never going to be like that girl in a verse challenge. This is definitely like not as iconic as her Reggie Wrote You verse, but it's not like great either. So it's just kind of like, eh. And her runway just didn't really make much sense to me. And then Chanel had actively one of the worst verses. I'm just going to say it. I'm so sorry. In Drag Race history. Like, this verse is bad.
First one in, I'm the real OG. I set the bar and made history. With a voice so loud, I'm standing proud. Political unrest and controversy.
The delivery's weird. It's not good. So even though her runway was absolutely beautiful, so Chanel, so perfect, I don't think it saves that verse. So we will have Roxxxy and Chanel in the bottom two, lip syncing to Whitney Houston's, well, a strange, upbeat remix of Whitney Houston's $1 Million Bill. I don't know why we're just not doing Queen of the Night. Like, come on. Where's Queen of the Night? Why has it been 20 years of Drag Race and we've not had a Queen of the Night lip sync? That's insane to me. But we're going to have $1 Million Bill lip sync between Chanel and Roxxxy Andrews. And I do feel like Roxxxy would win. We did see this happen on the actual season. Roxxxy and Chanel lip sync against each other, and Roxxxy killed it. So I am inclined to believe the same thing would happen here. Roxxxy would send Chanel home first, unfortunately. And we have our final 7 moving into the paintball, which is kind of all over the place. This is an okay episode. The categories are monochromatica, which is just give us a look in one shade of one color. Drag imitates art, which is take a famous painting, take a famous artist, and give us a look based off of that. And then the paintball eleganza, which they have to make a look that incorporates paint. They have to paint, they have to make the look, and they also have to paint said look in some way. And just looking at the looks overall, Angeria, I feel like all three of her looks are just a little bit, I don't know, forgettable. Like, the first look is fine. It looks like something she would wear on, like, the Drag Race Vegas show. It's okay. The Mondrian look, I love Mondrian. I think he's so good. And I just feel like I've seen Mondrian looks that are better. Willem has a really good one. I don't know. It's fine. And then her paintball look, I don't like that it's the same color palette as her first look because it's just, like, I don't know, it doesn't stand out as much. And it doesn't really look painted. It looks more almost tie-dyed. It's really hard to tell if this was painted. It's a good look. She can make a look. She can turn a look. But it's just not that impressive, to be honest with you. Gottmik obviously has some incredible looks. All three of these were absolute slam dunks. Anytime you ask Gottmik to do anything fashion, of course it's going to be absolutely jaw-dropping. No surprise there. Georges, kind of a hit or miss. I feel like her Kush green look, she already did a weed look on her first season, the like holy what I like to worship or whatever runway. She did like the weed pope, and I feel like that's just way better than this. Her Picasso look is good. I don't necessarily get Picasso the second I look at it. So like it's a good look independent of the category, but I don't know. Maybe it's because there's just not the like face shapes. That's what I think of when I think Picasso. But obviously she probably didn't want to like redo her entire makeup by putting like crazy shapes all over her face. So I get that. And then her paintball, I don't know, the proportions are just a little bit strange. The bra is like huge. This bra is humongous. I think that the patterning that she did with the paint, it works. I just don't know if this is like that flattering on her. Nina West has, I mean, this is like the highs and the lows of Nina West. First look, absolutely incredible. This is so beautiful. It's so stunning. It's so grand. This is like, you know, top tier Nina West look. The second two looks, however, I can't say the same for. The Tom of Finland look is, yeah. And her paintball look is, I mean, if there's something lower than a boot, that's what I would give this. It is actively bad, like terrible. And I think part of it is also, like, these queens know they're not going home. And I feel like this season, more than all winners, like, the winners, they needed to show that they were great. You know what I mean? They had a lot on the line. Their reputations as a winner were on the line. This is just a regular All-Stars cast. And I feel like for a lot of these queens, if it's a challenge that they're not, like, gonna excel at, like Nina in a ball or, like, Vanjie in Snatch Game, Plastique in Snatch Game, they kind of just, like, don't try as hard because they're not going home anyway. And we will see Nina does get a really, 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 really good design look later in the season. She redeemed herself. But here it's just like, girl, did you even try? Like, come on. Plastique obviously has 3 10 out of 10 shoot looks. Like, all of these are amazing and impeccable. Roxxxy, I feel like her first look is kind of strange. I never liked this look. I think it's just not flattering on her. I don't understand the story she's trying to tell with it. I don't live. But her Salvador Dali look is absolutely stunning. And a look she made herself. I love the gradient. She looks beautiful. I love this wig on her, this cape, this coat. I think this is a great, great look. And then Vanjie is, again, kind of a hit or miss. This first look, the green look, it's just not, I don't know, like, it's All-Stars, and this is giving, like, this would even be too small on a regular season. Her Starry Night look on its own is a really cool look. I really enjoy it, but, like, I'm not getting Starry Night from it quite literally whatsoever. But I do like her paintball look. I think it's really cute. I think it's showing her heritage. I feel like it looks great on her. Especially, you know, she went home her first season on a design challenge. So, like, this is really good for her. So, if I had to pick a top 3, I think it would obviously be the 3 that they chose in the actual episode. Gottmik, Plastique, and Roxxxy. But if there's going to be one winner, I think it's close between Gottmik and Plastique. But I think Plastique just knocked every look absolutely out of the park. Specifically the last one. The one that she made herself is one of the greatest design challenge looks of all time, and so is the other design challenge that she makes later in the season. Like, Plastique is a wonderful, wonderful designer and seamstress, so this was a slam dunk episode for her, so she will get the win here. I decided to put Georges low because I do feel like her look at least, like, made sense. You could tell that there was, like, a painted element. None of her looks were bad. And that left Angeria and Nina in the bottom. Angeria, I just don't think any of the looks were memorable. And her paint look, it just didn't look painted at all. And Nina had two actively very bad looks. So that is that. They are going to lip sync to Jump in the Line by Harry Belafonte, one of my favorite songs. This song means so much to me as a Beetlejuice absolute stan. And I feel like this would have been a very fun lip sync. It was an absolute flop with Gottmik and Plastique, but I feel like with Angie and with Nina, it would be so much fun because they're not afraid to just like let go and have fun in a lip sync. So I think they both would be really, really fun. But I do think Angeria would win this lip sync and send home Nina West right before the Snatch Game, which kind of sucks because Nina was one of the only, like, 3 people that did well in the Snatch Game. One of the only 3 people that actually tried in the Snatch Game. So, as we get into the Snatch Game, I think there's a very clear top 2, because only 2 people left did well at all, and that's Angeria and Gottmik. But Gottmik will win this episode. Specifically, I think the runway, the tail and 2 titties look is just like, it's one of the best ever. Like, this cemented her win. Like, Angeria was very, very good as well and had a really, really good runway. Her runway was actually incredible, but this just felt like a huge moment for Gottmik. So, Gottmik will win the Snatch Game with Angeria in the top. And for the bottom, God, there's so many options. So many options. I decided to keep Roxxxy safe, and I decided to put Vanjie in the low placement. I do feel like she did get at least 1 or 2 jokes in as her Cleopatra. They were the ones that, like, she had it ready to go anyway, but her runway was just not good this episode, whereas Roxy's was pretty good. So that leaves a bottom 2 of Georges and Plastique. Georges is John how do you say his name? How do you say his name? John Leguizamo was not good at all. Literally at all. And Plastique's Ali Wong, I mean, she just didn't try. Like, you know what I mean? It was not good. So despite both of them having very, very good runways, I mean, these Snatch Games were they were bad. So we're going to get a bottom 2 lip sync between Plastique and Georges to the song Banana by Anita featuring Becky G. Kind of a random choice. The song was good. And I mean, come on. Georges is going to win, and she's going to send home Plastique, which is kind of gaggy looking at Plastique's track record, which is literally high, win, elim. Sad, but Plastique winning a lip sync against Georges would never happen in a million years. So, unfortunately, we lose Plastique very early in this competition. We are then going to we're going to low-key switch some of the challenge orders, which I didn't do really on the last video, but I feel like with this, because we're going down to like a top 2 finale, I decided to push the makeover to top 3 like they did on All Stars 8, just because it makes more sense to have that challenge there, and we can do some of these acting and like comedy challenges when there's more people left, because they just wouldn't work when there's like 3 people left. So we're gonna move the meeting in the ladies' room challenge to the top 5 here. This is the challenge where like RuPaul is acting with them all. It's a really fun episode. It's super good. A lot of these queens do really, really well. There is a clear winner for this episode, and it is Angeria. She just knocks us out of the park, and she just has such a good, I think that she knows that RuPaul likes her, and when you know that Ru likes you, I feel like that gets rid of a lot of the nerves, because like, you know that if you just have fun with her, like, it's gonna be fine. So I feel like she was able to really just let go, have a good time, and show Ru and give Ru what she likes. I mean, she was making Ru crack up in the recording process. Like, come on. Of course Angeria is going to win this episode. And a lot of these queens, I think, did do well. Georges did pretty well. Vanjie did well. Gottmik did well. But I think that Vanjie and Gottmik did a little bit better than Georges. So I put them in the top. and that leaves a bottom 2 of Roxxxy and Jorgeous. Roxxxy was the only one that I don't think did well out of these queens that are left. And Jorgeous probably had the weakest runway for this episode, so I feel like they would make sense as the bottom 2. And they are going to lip sync to Lover Girl by Tina Marie. And this is absolutely like Roxxxy's jam. Like if you give Roxxxy like an 80s drag staple, a drag standard song, she's gonna kill it, clearly. But I feel like Jorgeous would do really well to this song as well. So this will be the double save between Roxxxy and Jorgeous to Lover Girl by Tina Marie. I think it'd be a really fun lip sync. I think they would both kind of have different approaches, but I think both approaches would work. And we're gonna stay with our top 5 going into the commercial. And this is the one where they had to sell, it was Property Queens. They had to sell a property from an insane location. And I feel like this would not be in teams in this format. They would each have their own commercial. And I feel like people like Angeria would do well, clearly. I think Roxxxy did really well in this challenge. And Vanjie did super well in this challenge. I feel like with the runway, which was the reveal runway, some of them were okay. Some of them were just kind of like, meh. Vanjie had a super, super fun one. Roxxxy's was kind of disappointing. Angeria's was pretty good. So of the top 3, I do think that Vanjie had the best runway. And I feel like Vanjie in a commercial, I mean, kind of like with the acting on season 11, like she's just gonna like be able to show off her personality and be super, super funny. So I think Vanjie would win this episode, her first win thus far, and Roxxxy and Angeria would be high. And that leaves Jorgeous and Gottmik in the bottom. They were teamed together for this challenge, and neither of them were good. It was just kind of a train wreck, low-key. So them being in the bottom makes sense. And they're going to lip sync to Super Freaky Girl by Nicki Minaj. And, I mean, come on. Jorgeous is going to win this lip sync and send home Gottmik, which, again, looking at Gottmik's track record, safe, high, win, high, elim. Like, that's wild. But I mean, who is going to beat Jorgeous in a lip sync on this cast? Not many of them. So, unfortunately, we will lose Gottmik here at the top 5. So we have our top 4 queens, and we're going to do the roast. Lots of comedy challenges in a row, but there were a lot of comedy challenges on this season. Like, I guess we could put a design challenge here, but a regular design challenge with just 4 people is kind of boring. And there's just not that many performance challenges. The only other performance challenge is the Lollapalooza, which I guess we could do with 4 queens, but that would be very boring. That'd be 3 lip syncs. And the Rusical, which, like, there just isn't enough people. We'd have to do that, like, in episode 2. So I guess we're doing another comedy challenge. It is the roast. And I feel like the clear best from this roast were Angeria and Jorgeous of the people that are left here. So I think they would be the top 2. They were clearly, I mean, with these 4 people that are left, Roxxxy did well, Vanjie didn't do well, but Jorgeous and Angeria, like, knocked it out of the park. But looking at the runway, the kind of categories Atomic Blonde, and Angeria's look is bad. Angeria's look is real bad. And Jorgeous' look it's good. It's not my favorite of the entire runway, but it's up there. It's a really good look. And I feel like Jorgeous would win this episode in this scenario. Angeria already has 2 wins. She's been in the top almost every week. And Jorgeous has been sending bitches home left and right with 0 wins. So I feel like for the season, they would have just been like, yeah, no, this is Jorgeous' moment. Let's give her the win. And it would have been a really great, like, comeback moment for Jorgeous. I mean, her doing this, like, butch character was so funny. She slayed this roast. She did really well on the runway. So her winning here just makes sense. And Angeria will be in the top. And the bottom 2 will be Roxxxy Andrews and Vanjie. And they are going to lip sync to Be My Lover by La Bouche. And again, this is just like one of those songs that Roxy's gonna kill. And Vanjie is a great lip syncer, but I feel like we didn't really see her. Every time she lip synced on this season, it was just kind of okay. So Roxxxy will send home Vanjie here. And that means that we have a top 3 at the Makeover Challenge, where they are going to be making over a firefighter into a member of their girl group. So we'll just do, like, duos, basically. Instead of having this be, like, a team challenge, obviously, we'll have it be just a single solo challenge. And if I had to pick a winner here between Angeria, Jorgeous, and Roxxxy, it's going to be hard to just like look at what they did in the episode because they did it with a partner. So I feel like I'm just going to kind of look at what they would do in a makeover in a vacuum. I feel like Angie and Jorgeous would do well, but Roxxxy won her makeover. She did incredible again on the makeover in All Stars 2. And she's just really great at painting. She has like a clear, styled mug that you can easily transfer onto somebody else. I feel like this would be Roxxxy's moment to win. And she would win the makeover, making Angeria and Jorgeous the bottom two, where they're going to lip sync to Black Cat by Janet Jackson. An incredible lip sync song. We did it on Drag Duel, and it was wonderful and iconic. October 3rd killed it. So what would happen with Jorgeous and Angeria and Black Cat? I think this would be close. I think they would both do super well. But I think Angie would take the win here and send home Jorgeous in third place. So we have our top two of the season, Angeria and Roxxxy, which makes sense to me. I feel like the clear top three of this entire season was Angeria, Roxxxy, and Plastique. So these two being in the top two makes complete sense to me. And we will have everyone come back and do their talent show numbers. We will have the eliminated queens that have like a top two of the best performances, and they will lip sync for the win for some extra money for their charity, I guess. So picking the top two talent show numbers from the eliminated queens, I think that it would probably be close between Jorgeous, Chanel, and Plastique. I think that the show would probably pick Jorgeous and Plastique, if I'm being honest. I feel like Chanel, it's incredible. She's literally juggling swords, but they really want like a high impact moment. And I feel like Chanel's was incredible. It was the only thing that was like an actual like talent number, but it was just kind of the same thing all the way through, which like, I'm not critiquing it. I think it was perfect, but I don't think the show would ever give this the win. Whereas Jorgeous and Plastique, I think, had incredible performances with lots of levels and gaggy moments. So I feel like they would make the top two, Jorgeous and Plastique, and they will lip sync to, I don't know, pick a song that we didn't use from the season, like Groove is in the Heart or Break Free or something. It doesn't matter because Jorgeous is going to win it, and she will win the extra money for her charity or whatever. And that leaves the top two of Roxxxy and Angeria, and they are going to lip sync for the win to Rhythm Nation by Janet Jackson, a song I have been wishing and waiting for so long. That is one of my favorite Janet Jackson songs. It's actually the song that really like solidified me as a Janet fan in college. And I mean, I just fell down the rabbit hole since then. And now she's one of my like top 5 divas. Like, I live for Janet Jackson. Did not live for this lip sync. I think it was hard because it's a top 3 lip sync, and they had to kind of edit around 3 people, so it's kind of hard to like keep up. But Roxxxy clearly won this lip sync. But looking at her track record, I mean, especially compared to Angeria, I think Angeria deserves to win the season in this scenario. And it's not like the final lip sync matters most of the time on Drag Race anyway. So I think that Angeria in this scenario would win the season. She was in the top 5 out of 7 weeks, whereas Roxxxy was in the top 3 out of the 7 weeks. So, I mean, we all know if I had to pick a winner for this season, Roxxxy was my winner, but it's hard to say that Angeria also doesn't deserve to win, especially looking at this scenario with the challenges that were chosen and with the track record that she had. Like, come on, Angeria was going to win this. So, I know Twitter hates me because I was, annoyed at the finale. I really wanted Roxxxy to win. I really wanted Plastique to be in at least the finale lip sync, but Angeria slayed, and she gets her roses, and she's a winner, so this all checks out to me. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this track record? Do you agree? Do you disagree? This was a fun little series to do. It was only going to be one video, but I figured these are both going to be like 30 minutes anyway, so let's just make it 2 videos. And now I can announce the time has come, which you all have been waiting for. I am starting production on the riggery of Global All-Stars. I hate you all for making me watch this again. I hate you all for making me do all my research again and dive back into this train wreck, but it feels like time. It feels like enough time has passed. I can look at this with fresh eyes, and we can break down all of the riggery of Global All-Stars. So I'm not saying it's the next video because honestly this video is probably going to take me a while to like get everything together. So there might be some like placeholder videos coming out in the next couple weeks, but I would say definitely in September, Global All-Stars Riggery and Unrigged will be coming out. So look out for that and make sure you subscribe because I have gotten so many comments begging me for it. You better subscribe if you're going to put me through this. You better hit that subscribe button if you're going to make me sit through Global All-Stars again. So make sure to like this video, comment what you think about this track record. The links to all of my social medias are in the description down below, and I will catch all of you in the next one.